Yeah, hi. I just watched your interview with on Starseed Talk,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting. I didn't get the chance to finish it, but I got quite a few questions.
Okay.
Um, One thing I just wanted to talk about the second wave. I didn't know. So he is, ironically, year 78, and he's, I think he is 88, right?
87, because he's flipped
87.
from yours. Remember you mentioned
Yeah,
that?
yeah, 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 that's right.
Hmm.
And that's interesting. So he is third wave, right?
Probably, yeah.
Mhm.
Or it could be second wave because it was late 70s to like middle 80s, something like that. I gotta look. This comes from Dolores Cannon's The Three Waves of Volunteers.
Mhm.
So second waivers came after the 1960s. So 50s and 60s was the first wave. So those people are now in their 50s to 60 years old. They were like during the 1960s hippies, kind of peace and love, like that kind of thing. And
Uh,
then the second waivers came like in the 1970s to the 80s, but I'm not sure where he falls into it. Yeah.
right. And you said that your awakening started in 2012. It's interesting because I was
Yeah.
thinking how my started. My really hit me in 2016 because I was trying to go back in my
Hmm.
timeline and see. I mean, did my start in 2012? Because everybody talks about that particular year, but I don't
Yeah.
think mine was like, little by little. From the
Right.
time I lost my mom when I was 21, and then like this pushing me.
Well, so did mine. Mine was my whole life, but 2012 just kind of made it speed up. It just, took off after that. But around 20, I just did a lot of work on myself. So doing a lot of research, a lot of reading, a lot of just introspective work within me, just, figuring out, you know, that's kind of when I went into all of hypnosis, when I found Aurelio and Alba and that whole spectrum of Dolores Cannon and all of her work. So it was a bunch of things.
Right. Yeah, and Michael Newton and what
Hmm.
else? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, and then you mentioned about the life in between lives, like you saw
Hmm.
that in your session. Because I don't think your session was posted, right? Because I
No, it wasn't
thought,
posted. I have
yeah,
clips of it. Obviously I have the recording for myself, but that's something that I can share. I don't mind
right,
sharing that.
right. Yeah, it's interesting. I just mentioned about it because I was thinking I saw you clearly walking through the tunnel with the doors in
Yeah.
one of those when I was in
Hmm.
trance. And
Yeah.
then you confirmed that, and I was thinking, well, if I saw your session before, maybe I just read it off of that, but no.
Yeah. That had never been posted.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, and then you were talking about the animals, how you help them out of the house, and
Yeah.
he mentioned that too, and
Hmm.
that's what my kids do the same. We, we,
Yeah.
we always like the spiders, so take them out by hand.
Hmm.
Everybody's looking like huge spiders in their
Oh my
hands.
God. Yeah, I know. I love doing that. I,
Uh,
I took one out yesterday. It was a wasp. It got stuck in the blinds in the window, so I just grabbed a cup and sent it outside the door.
oh, that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
the wasps are those are tough ones.
Yeah, I
They
had
can
never done that
bite.
before. So I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, he was stressed out. He was just trying to go outside.
Right. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's nice. Someone goes through that. And then, I've always been asking myself these questions, especially in this coronavirus thing going on, and,
Hmm.
the mayor deciding for the people, it was 94 degrees today,
Yeah.
very hot and muggy, and everybody wanted, of course, to get a little. to cool off in the lake, but the beaches are closed for some
Right.
strange reason. At the same time, people are driving to Indiana Dunes,
Mm-hmm.
which is a few hours away, and they stand in line for parking for two
My
hours.
God.
And one guy just told me at this beach that we go to, this little secret one
Yeah.
that I found by accident, that he said that if you don't get there by 9, you'll stand in line for 2 hours. Then you walk to the beach, and people like literally on top of each other at the beach. He said
Oh
there would
wow.
be like, he showed me this one square in the water would be like 25 people in it,
Oh my
stuck
God.
together. And I said, what's the point? Does it make sense? And then, once again, this question comes up to me: do we really have free will here?
Mm.
Because if we had it, they would say, okay, we recommend that you don't go to the beach, that you don't swim in water, but
Right.
it's your decision, it's your free will. Are
Mm-hmm.
you are you gonna risk,
Right.
to be to get the virus or not? It's the same thing like when you go to the beach, they have these flags. The
Right.
yellow flag, the bacteria level is a little higher, but it's up to you to risk or not to risk.
Right.
But that's what I call free will. But in this kind of, like, what do you think? Like,
I think it's about control, honestly. And that's been the whole thing with the mask, that you have to wear it out in public, at the stores or wherever you go. It's about control. How much are we willing to relinquish our freedom and leave it to the hands of these people in leadership in our community, mayors or governors or whatever?
mm,
How much are we going to allow them to um, tell us, dictate how we live? Because it shouldn't be a big deal to go to the beach on a summer day. It should be okay. It's outside, it's in the open, in the sunshine, but if you restrict people to secret beaches and then there's going to be 25 people on top of each other, then you're just, if the numbers are true and what they're saying is that you don't have that social distancing, right?
right,
So I think ultimately it's just about control and how much we're willing to give up our personal freedoms
right.
for,
It, mm, yeah, it's almost like on one hand, it's about control,
hmm
and all it takes is to say no,
correct.
and then we take the power back.
hmm
But then on the other hand, it's kind of pushing. I keep meeting so many people every day who are wide awake. They're
hmm
totally saying the numbers are all made up. This is all it's like a Nazi camp. It's
Yeah.
become, because we have these beautiful spots in Chicago. It's very green, but
Yeah.
there's literally nobody around. The people are
Mhm.
almost like afraid. They see a police car and they don't
Right.
go.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's same here in Los Angeles. We have so many beaches to go to, and they decided, oh, we're going to close it 4th of July weekend, which is a big weekend for holidays to go to the beach, have a picnic, spend a day swimming or surfing or whatever. And they said, no, it is closed. So it makes no sense. And, people, I think eventually people are just going to get so fed up that they're just going to say to hell with it, and then they're just going to say no, take the power back. But we need to have enough people to do that. And I don't know what it's like in Illinois, but here in California it's very divided. It's either 50% of the people saying stay home, wear a mask, social distance, don't go nowhere, and the other half is like normal life, do whatever I want, So it's very divided.
right. Yeah, I noticed it's almost like three camps, because I was walking on the main street, Michigan, here with my friend and our
Mm-hmm.
kids, and like we're not wearing masks. There's no point to it.
Right.
But most people are wearing masks, and
Mm-hmm.
some of them are very aggressively, like looking at us or shaking their heads, talking
Yeah.
up loudly to each other. Oh, look at them,
Yeah.
so
Same
you can
here.
hear. Yeah, what are they thinking? And then there's another group who's just like, I understand that they're it's almost like they're so brainwashed
Yeah.
not to search for information for themselves, not to
Of
educate
course.
themselves. They just,
Hmm.
it's not in their system to do that. So they're
Yes.
like in between. They're nice to you, they're nice to others. They're just doing like others because they don't know better.
Yeah.
And then there's another group just like totally I meet in my reality, I meet all those people.
Yeah.
But at the same time they opened only one pool at the building
Hmm.
here, which is half residential, half hotel. And
Hmm.
there's kids, like 50 kids all together in this tiny little pool,
Oh
which
my God.
which is okay and normal, and it's
Hmm.
totally safe. But at the
Right.
same time, we have tons of beaches, huge, long beaches. You
Yeah.
just spread people out, and that's all you
Mm.
have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like I keep thinking about it. Like, where's my free will? I'm here, I'm doing
Yeah,
it, but at
exactly.
the same time,
Well, they're restricting us to see how much we are willing to let them tell us how to live. So I
mhm,
think we're getting to that tipping point where people are just going to say, we don't care, we're just going to live our life. At
right,
least, I'm seeing the same things you are, where if you don't wear a mask and other people are like, oh, you should be wearing it and it's not safe and you're putting people in danger. And it's like, really, are we really putting ourselves in danger? I don't know. I don't watch the news. I don't think you do either. But there's some people that do. It's like religion to them to watch CNN or whatever, and they believe everything that they tell them. And so they're fear mongering and they're panicking. And it's like, oh, well, you can't leave the house. You can't go anywhere. You have to wear a mask, all this and that. So
right.
I think we're getting close to something big happening with that.
That's what I feel too. I actually saw in hypnosis the other day 2-3 months, and that's a big like explosion of the volcano. Tip of the volcano is boiling already. It's
Well,
gonna
it's
happen.
funny. I think it was Ykarta was saying September, or I heard somebody say September. I don't remember who.
Um,
So that's just a few months, a couple months from now. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, it's getting
interesting.
closer. Plus, I think a lot of it also has to do with the election in November. I think people are trying to, I don't know, figure out like what direction the country is going to go or how they want to change things. I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the election as well.
Right. Yeah. But it comes down to the fact no matter whom you pick, they're gonna test your willpower and
Mhm.
whether you're gonna totally um give your power away to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, yeah, let's leave this because it's everywhere. It's every day. I feel like my kid's almost like my 4-year-old said the other day, even though I never talked to her about this, we've never worn masks all this period.
Yeah.
But she said, I wish life was like we had it before coronavirus. It's amazing because this
Wow.
informational field and all people are wearing them. She sees it.
Yeah,
They
I
they
feel
totally
bad
understand.
when I go to the store and I see little kids like, 2, 3 years old wearing a mask and they're crying. And
Mm,
some kids are excited to wear it, but you could tell that they're hot and sweaty, so it can't be healthy.
right. No, it is not. And you have to change it every 2 hours, which people do not do.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in workplaces.
Yeah, I think it's silly. I mean, it makes no sense from a hygiene or sanitation standpoint.
No, no. Yeah, because I myself, I've studied immunology for 5 years in the university, and just like I was asking my husband the other day, because
Hmm.
he knows the mayor, and like, does she even consult anybody who's a medical worker
Right,
or whatever? Because in the, that's how you get vitamin D and stimulate your immune system by being outdoors. And if
right.
you cover half of your face, it's almost ridiculous what kind of tan you get and what kind of
Right.
quality vitamin D you get anyways, you know,
Right. I
the
know.
percentage, because you're supposed to really expose yourself.
Mhm.
But yeah, well, we'll let it to others because everybody decides only for himself, for
Mhm.
herself. Yeah, and then another thing, he mentioned about his twin flame and how he
Mhm.
let his like toxic relationship go, and just very interesting. This
Mhm.
dynamic with these twin flames, I'm still trying to figure that out. It's almost like mine.
Mhm.
First, it was like an explosion, right? You feel
Right.
it real close to you,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I've never really read about it, but that's my
Mhm.
experience.
Yeah.
And then you get excited to do things together, and then he gets too much. He gets everywhere you go. Like it's being too
Mhm.
much of his energy into your life, so you push
Right.
him away naturally.
Right.
And after that, in a few days, he starts writing that he cannot
Mhm.
live without you. You know, me being like a kind of like energetically. I mean, it's not
Right.
like Earth's life type relationship. But and then I feel kind of neutral now towards this person. I mean, is it normal? How does it? It's just like
Well, I mean, I've heard of various terms, twin flame and twin soul, which is different. So I think a twin flame basically is just a complementary to yours, to your soul, I think. So, and then a twin soul is basically you split in half. So it's a mirror image of you. But a twin flame, I think, is the ideal partner for you. So I think he said his twin flame is not incarnated in this lifetime with him. So, and I think that that's kind of normal. Not everybody's is incarnated at the same time because you have different lessons to learn until you can ascend to the same dimension or realm where they are.
mm,
At least that's how I understood him.
okay, yeah, because it's just strange. I mean, this person literally reads. He talks like me.
Yeah.
He thinks like me,
Yeah.
which is like at this point. At first, I was rejecting him, right? I mean, it
Right.
couldn't be true, but then when you realize it's true, you kind of live over this excitement, and then it goes down. Like you're exhausted because you also feel like this energy exchange is
Right.
too much, you know.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that you have to learn is that balance, a healthy balance. But, how do you achieve that with, the distance and all of that? I mean, yeah, you have technology and maybe the telepathic communication, but that's just hard. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I feel like he's wanting too much energy from me because I
Yeah.
get so exhausted. It's too, if the messages start, they never end. So it's better not to start. That's how
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, it's
But I
draining.
also know that people use my kindness. Well,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like they guilt you into things,
Mhm.
or you kind of feel like you can ignore people. If you respect people,
Yeah.
then you have to answer, and here it becomes, and then if you start answering to everybody, humans want to get more and more and more from you. I learned that
Right.
lesson very well. You know,
Right.
it's like it's never stopping then, so
Yeah.
you have to put limits.
Yeah, we have to learn boundaries, and that's with any relationship, any friendship or family member. You have to have a boundary for how much you're able to expend your energy on them or how much you allow their energy to affect yours. Because some people really are negative or just toxic. So you have to have, how much you allow into your space.
Hmm. Yeah, it's still, I'll be figuring that one out for sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Okay, and then there's an interesting thing you said.
Hmm.
When you see people, you read their minds, you know what they want to say, and that's exactly you. It's very good. I mean, this is like the best thing to talk
Hmm.
about, because I'm sure a lot of people feel like I used to feel
Hmm.
something's wrong with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like my husband, because he's from Earth, he's very much from Earth, he's lived so many lives here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you listening to me?" But I'm like
Huh.
flying in space, you know, but I
Oh my
already know
God.
ahead of time what he's about to tell me
This is
because,
why you have to watch the rest of my video
oh,
because I
really?
swear to God, I said the same thing you just said.
That's funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I before he even says something, I say it in my mind.
Yeah.
And
I
then
know.
I'm questioning myself, is it because I've been with him for 21 years? Or is it because, you know, and the
Hmm.
same thing. You kind of know what person is trying to get out of you by
Yeah.
all this. But
Because
then
we have that intuition, you know what I mean? We connect, and
Mhm.
so you're able to just kind of know about people. And that happens to me, quite a bit. But I had to learn that boundary also. It's like you have to be respectful of their space, of their privacy, and all of that. So I think I've learned that. It's like I will offer them the information if they ask me, and if they don't, that's okay. Sometimes I walk away from conversations with people, and I know their challenges or where they are in their life, but I will never say anything to them about it because it's not up to me.
Mhm.
But because their energy comes with into me, then I pick it up, but I don't
Yeah.
really say anything. It's weird.
Because they have to figure it out themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why, you know, I like this the method, Griffadi method, because it's all
Hmm.
about you are in control. You are the
Exactly.
one, you know,
Hmm.
because we are like born with this mental program with the hard disk that you have to look for help outside
Hmm.
of you, and it's everybody. And I used to be like that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally understand everybody who's trying to figure that one out. And it
Hmm.
has to be repeated so many times too for a
Hmm.
person to get to the point that now everything depends on me. You know, I'm the one creating the reality I'm living, I'm
Yeah, but a lot of people
experiencing.
don't have that determination to change their situation in their life. They just either allow it to happen. Maybe they don't understand. Some people are like all about the law of attraction, and they have positive, reaffirming things, mantras that they say to themselves and they live by. And so they allow the universe to put them in the situation where it's going to benefit their life. And other people just don't ever think about that. They just allow life to happen to them. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, just let it go and go with the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I also feel when you're on the right track, it's just like happening the right way all of a
Yeah.
sudden, and you feel it. And
Yeah.
then if you want something, I mean, I totally forgot about this law of attraction because in my experience,
Hmm.
if I want something, I mean, I just like wish it for a second and just let it go. Just like Dolores Cannon used to say,
Yeah.
because I forgot. I mean, I used to listen to her a lot, but then I stopped, and
Right.
this 2 years I have not.
Right.
And now I'm looking back, like you can connect the dots looking
Yeah.
backwards, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
And it's just like all these things that I kind of wanted, but kind
Hmm.
of let it go. Just well, what if it doesn't? I mean, doesn't happen. That's okay
Right.
too. And those exactly the ones that happened and came
Yeah.
true, you know.
Yeah,
And the
it's
ones
true.
that you really, really, really want, I mean, they don't because you kind of like put this wall.
Yeah,
Um,
because you don't think that you deserve it or that it's never going to happen. It's just too much. But I don't know, lately I feel like I've been manifesting things so quickly and just it's like, oh my God, this is really happening, you know? So I've heard that from a lot of other star seeds or just light workers saying that the speed at which they're able to manifest now is so quick. So I
Right.
think we're like going into like that fourth dimension transition period, maybe, where manifestation is like you just think about it in your head, you wish it, let it go, and it immediately is happening. So
Right.
maybe we're just aligned with that flow of allowing that abundance to come. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah, it's funny too. Like yesterday, I was walking and I mentioned to my friend with kids, we were walking on Michigan about our dentist. I don't know why, but I did. And 5 steps away, he's standing there with his wife, who's
Oh
his
my God.
whatever. She's at the front desk,
Right.
standing in masks, and I'm looking at his eyes. I'm thinking, I know those eyes. I know, like in mask, you
Yeah.
don't really know who it is.
Right. I know.
And then he's like, Oksana, that's you?
Hmm.
and, I, and I was just started, and it's things like that. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily the things,
Yeah, I know.
but like that
That
beach,
happens to me too.
I was bummed out and I wished, oh, I wish it was a secret beach. And just because I had this determination
Right.
to walk over the rocks, you know,
Right.
going through the bushes that had spikes and all this stuff, and we're
Oh my
walking with kids
God.
saying, ouch, 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 it's like a
Oh,
forest preserve we went through, but
yeah.
totally nobody went. Like the grass was up to my
Oh, wow.
forehead. Right, and the kids imagine 4-year-old going through all these flowers and all these pokey things.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then we see this beautiful thing, just tiny little beach just for us with white perfect rocks. I mean,
Wow.
how is that all of it? But just because you're looking for it, you have to look. You
You
have to
have to look.
physically do something.
Yeah, and another thing is that we are in tuned with the signs that the universe is sending. And so we're able to follow those little signs and follow it to where we need to go. Some people, the signs could be right in front of them, but they're so asleep, so blind that they don't pick up on that. I think that's the difference too.
Right. Karada Malanga, he says all the time in his videos that he used to teach a lot in the University of Pisa. He says,
Mm-hmm.
I can only present myself and present the knowledge through me,
Yeah.
but it's up to each student
Mm-hmm.
according to his consciousness level to
Yeah.
accept the knowledge and make it his own or not. Because
Right.
he might not even understand it to
Mm-hmm.
accept it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true.
So it's that way. Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. I guess
All
we'll
right.
continue when I find time in between this
Yeah, I
summer,
know. Yeah, you've been
looking
busy.
for the beaches with the kids and staying
I
outside
know.
of the.
Well, just be careful and be safe.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you
Okay,
so
thanks a
much.
lot.
Bye.
Thanks to you. Bye.